Today is the 27th of August 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this edition of the Weekend Blingual newscast over My Media Prime TV. We are broadcasting from the economic capital of Cameroon, Douala. Good evening, Lilian, Fogue.
Bonsoir Cynthia, Azanu, mesdames, messieurs, bonsoir. Merci d'honorer le rendez-vous du journal bilingue sur My Media Prime TV du 27 août 2022. Nous présentons depuis Douala, c'est au Cameroun. Mais la première partie, c'est en français, c'est en anglais avec Cynthia Azanu.
Ladies and gentlemen, to begin this newscast, lay private teachers in Konye subdivision have been trained on the effective implementation of the new curriculum. This was in a 3-day seminar which took place in Kumba in the Mehmet division of the Southwest region, as Tamfu Sidwan reports from Kumba.
Actions speak louder than words.
The 3 days dedicated to train teachers of lay private schools in the Konye subdivision was in line with the spirit of back to school, as explained by the chief organizer of the Kumba seminar, the inspector of basic education for the subdivision.
In the concept of back to school, everybody has a role to play. So, like an inspector, this is my own role, and this is how I prepare my back to school.
The objective has always been to train these pedagogues on how to apply the new curriculum for the basic education and its impacts on the pupils who will be running back to school for the 2022-2023 academic year.
Training of teachers' capacity for the effective implementation. When you improve the capacities of teachers for effective implementation of the new curriculum.
Even though there has been difficulties coupled with the armed struggle in the northwest and southwest regions, the inspector believes that the teachers still need to improve their capacities and innovations, as they will have as task to transform lives of pupils in the Konye subdivision.
The message is that the teachers should be conversant with innovations, and the product, the children, should be of good quality.
The Tuesday, August 23 to Thursday, August 25 seminar has just been one of the instruments that will affect the teaching and learning process during the academic year 2022-2023 in the Konye subdivision.
And now the Minister Deputy Secretary General of the Presidency of the Republic, Elong Paul Che, has donated didactic materials to the pupils and students of Tombe in Kupe-Maninguba Division of the Southwest region. The gesture, according to the representative of the minister, is a show of encouragement to the population this upcoming academic year. We get the details with Joy Ngong, Christian Tebong, and My Media Prime Tombe.
The canopy of enabling children to effectively and adequately acquire knowledge in Tombel, a locality in the restive southwest region of Cameroon, the Minister Deputy Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic, Elong Paul Che, has distributed didactic materials to kids, pupils and students of the locality. The distribution exercise, which took place at the Tombel Grandstand under the watchful eyes of the Divisional Officer of Tombel Subdivision, Nyam Leonard, saw the massive attendance of kids, pupils, students, as well as parents. Speaking to the press, the Divisional Officer said it is a great accomplishment of the Minister Deputy Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic to enable children kickstart the 2022-2023 academic year.
And you will therefore realize that the gesture we are having today, we had a symbol, something similar to this in 2020. And that of 2020, we had gifts that came from some other elites, with Minister Paul Elongche to contributing enormously. With complete normalcy almost achieved, he has seen that in order to encourage children to go back to school, you can see behind me the items that he has brought. And these items are not only limited for those children who are going to school in Tombel, the items are for all the entire subdivision. If I'm talking about school for entire subdivision, you will therefore understand that normalcy has picked up almost everywhere compared to 2018, 2019, where schools were circumscribed almost around Tombel. If you go to the other villages, if you even go to Western Bakosi, you will find that schools are effective. The primary school there is on. Almost all of our villages, classes are effective. And then when you have prizes of this nature, items of this nature, they come to act as a moral booster. GC was written, the common entrance examinations were written, first school and everything was written here in Tombe. And therefore you will find that this act, this gesture, coming from the minister who has a vision, who thinks that he should give back to the society what he too gained.
According to the Inspector of Basic Education, the steady rise in the number of pupils and kids attending school in the subdivision is a motivational factor for such a gesture.
Last year when I came here to Alab Bangor at Tombe, we had common entrance 300 and something candidates, first school 400 and something candidates. Then this year we had for common entrance 777 candidates and for first school 885. So you will notice that there's a marked increase in the turnout. And the results too are excellent.
The section president of the ruling CPDM party of Tombel on his part expressed joy and satisfaction for the gift, adding that it is the seed of education that the minister is planting in Tombel.
I'm a happy president today because why? As an elite, that it is coming from one of our elder brothers. And that it is just a call that he is trying to tell other elites that I have started. You can continue and go down to the villages. Secondly, I'm a happy president that it is coming from my militant and a senior militant for that matter. Why should I not be happy? So my impressions are very, very positive.
Responding, the representative of the Minister Deputy Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic expressed the joy of his peer to the lovely people of Tombel while urging them to keep supporting the peace initiative of the minister by encouraging children to go to school. He said all goodwill messages expressed by the people of Tombel would be taken back to the minister.
Well, we're here on a special mission on the behest of the Minister Deputy Secretary General of the Presidency of the Republic, His Excellency Longpo Chair, who in his usual magnanimity thinks that he should reach out to his people at this period of when parents and students are preparing to go back to school. So he sent us with these materials in order to encourage education in his community. It's not the first time he's doing that, he's always been doing that. But this time he has a special attention to the fact that school resumption in his area should be very, very effective. And since an empty hand cannot lay a bird, that is why he sent us with these materials to come and share to the students, to the pupils, so that at least the parents should be relieved of that burden of sending their children to school.
Even the heavy rainfall of the day could not stop the distribution exercise.
Le ministre de l'Éducation de base, Laurent Sege Etundingoa, a dévoilé le montant de l'appui financier accordé par le gouvernement camerounais aux établissements scolaires maternels, primaires, privés. C'était au conseil de cabinet du Premier ministre Joseph Diongouti. Les détails, c'est dans ce reportage.
2 590 717 000 francs CFA. C'est le montant que le gouvernement camerounais a débloqué pour subventionner les établissements scolaires primaires et maternels privés pour le compte de l'année scolaire 2021-2022. C'est ce qui ressort de l'exposé du ministre de l'Éducation de base, Laurent Sege Etundingoa, lors du conseil du cabinet à l'auditorium des services du Premier ministre jeudi dernier. Cette subvention sera répartie en deux axes. La somme d'1 584 626 000 francs CFA sera donnée aux établissements scolaires primaires et 1 6 91 000 francs CFA aux établissements scolaires maternels. Sous le regard attentif du Premier ministre Joseph Diongouti, le ministre de l'Éducation de base a indiqué que le sous-secteur primaire et maternel est prêt pour démarrer la rentrée scolaire le 5 septembre 2022 et que les dispositions ont déjà été prises à cet effet. Par ailleurs, pour bénéficier de cette subvention de l'État, les établissements scolaires privés doivent avoir certains critères. Il faut entre autres avoir un acte d'autorisation de création, être régulier, remplir les normes en ce qui concerne les infrastructures, les équipements et les effectifs, souscrire l'établissement à une école de police d'assurance, faire une couverture sociale pour les enseignants, régler régulièrement les salaires, payer la redevance aux impôts et avoir déposé un dossier de demande de subvention. Cet appui du gouvernement camerounais va permettre ainsi d'améliorer les conditions de travail des enseignants et d'alléger les charges liées au fonctionnement des établissements scolaires privés laïcs au Cameroun.
Inhabitants in Marwa of the far north region of Cameroon are decrying the steady increase in the prices of basic commodities. They say the situation has made life extremely difficult, especially with those with low income, as Fonquinta tells us in the following report.
The town of Marwa in the far north region of Cameroon has been hit by a steady rise in prices of basic commodities. From meat to vegetable oil and other basic items, denizens say the prices has increased while quantity has reduced drastically. To the city dweller, the town of Marwa is no longer for the poor as things have become too expensive and scarce. Life in the far north region have become so difficult. People say it's the war in Ukraine. The oil we consume here, is it from Ukraine? Is it the war in Ukraine that has made oil expensive? The poor are suffering. According to Sule, a butcher in Marché Abattoir, the problem of price hikes is inexplicable. God alone knows the result. We don't know what is happening. It's everywhere, not Marwa alone or Cameroon. It's universal. We are just praying things get better. To these other residents, the sudden rise in prices of basic commodities, especially locally made products, beats her imagination. Talking about price hikes in the market, let me cite an example. For some products, I know we do not produce them here. The products are made elsewhere, so we can't talk much. Now, talking about items like tomato and oil that we produce are becoming expensive. It's not good. Government should do something. Students like myself suffer a lot in a country where everything is expensive. Conditions are not favorable. It's really difficult. The rise in food prices in Cameroon has for long been a major challenge, especially to low-income earners. The situation in the far north region has been attributed to the horrors perpetrated by Boko Haram. However, inhabitants are still calling on officials to look into the situation, especially at a time price hikes have pushed stable foodstuff beyond the reach of many.
Ahead of the 2022-2023 academic school year, the non-governmental organization Gender Empowerment and Development has been empowering teachers in some regions of Cameroon with the necessary tools to reduce school-related gender-based violence. After visiting Yaoundé and Bafoussam, this week was the turn of Douala, as Lasha Kingsley tells us in the following report.
The wave of violence sweeping across schools in Cameroon is giving education stakeholders sleepless nights as the school milieu has been transformed into a jungle, with some students killing their teachers and or their colleagues. It is within this backdrop that the non-governmental organization Gender Empowerment and Development has been empowering teachers in some regions with the necessary tools in 2022-2023 academic year.
At this point, poor upbringing of children from the homes. 3, some parents overfinance their children. They give more than what is necessary for a child.
Appreciate the students, which is something that is lacking in our community in school, because we easily point out mistakes as teachers and administrators, and we don't congratulate those who are doing it well.
Participants were empowered with knowledge on how to prevent and respond to school-related gender-based violence on drug abuse, sexual violence, bullying and human rights abuses in the school environment, which are often detrimental to the learning process.
C'est-à-dire l'élève quitte de la famille avec ses difficultés. Je prends un exemple. Tout à l'heure, ils ont un enfant qui n'est pas capable de se documenter, d'avoir les documents nécessaires, de faire les photocopies. Ça fait partie des difficultés qu'il faut qu'on fasse les...
Gender Empowerment and Development is a non-profit making organization dedicated to improving the lives of women and youths, especially through the promotion and protection of rights, capacity building, gender empowerment, lobbying and advocacy, with special focus on fighting violence within the school milieu.
And now the ministers of basic and secondary education have donated a sum of 2 billion francs CFA to private institutions. This is to assist them for the upcoming 2022-2023 academic year, as Nicole Tako completes the story.
Prime Minister and Head of Government Joseph Diongute chaired in the auditorium of his service a cabinet council in Yaoundé, together with other ministers, addressing the points relating to the start of the 2022-2023 academic year. The Minister of Secondary Education, Nalova Lyonga, reported on the preparations that led to the publication of several texts. The Minister of Basic Education and Minister of Secondary Education have together set the calendar for the school year, well as a decision to distribute subsidies to organizations and institutions under private education for a total amount of 2,125 million. In the same line, the official list of textbooks have been made public. It should be noted that last academic year, a decision was signed by the Minister of Secondary Education authorizing the mandate of the sum of 1,997,150,000 for the payment of subsidies granted by the state of Cameroon to schools or private training of secondary and normal education for the 2021 financial year. In order to benefit from these state subsidies, institutions must meet certain conditions, which are: it is necessary to be authorized, regular, to meet the standards with regards to infrastructure, the subscription of school to an insurance policy, social coverage for teachers, the regular payment of salaries, and the payment of the fee to taxes, and to have submitted a grant application file.
The Minister of Livestock, Fisheries and Animal Industries has inaugurated the production line of feed in Bafoussam West region of Cameroon. This is the first time an investment of this kind is taking place as part of import substitution strategy in Cameroon. Katrine Kongwe has details.
The new feed production plant in Bafoussam has been inaugurated by the Minister of Livestock, Fishery and Animal Industry, Dr. Tiaga. The plant, owned by the Feed Mill Production Company of Cameroon, has a daily production capacity of 300 tons and is thus expected to put an end to scarcity of day-old chicks in the region. Today, we are witnessing the modernization of an important tool, which is food, which accounts for 70% of agricultural production. SPC and all stakeholders provide viable solutions for agricultural. The inauguration ceremony also saw the presence of the Minister of Trade, Luke Maglua Baga Atangana, who expressed satisfaction with the project. Get out of what we have. We are a small, confined market. Cameroon, with its 25 million consumers, we are in logic of construction of African markets, single markets, markets without borders. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Gabriel Mbairobe, was also present at the inauguration ceremony. For the cotton rate, the availability is sufficient. I found that SPC is still importing 12,000 tons of corn. It is not worse. 5 years ago, we imported 400,000 tons of corn, but today we are around 30,000 tons imported, which means that there have been an evolution. But we are facing a challenge, which is the increase in pig farming, the explosion of poultry farming, the development of aquaculture and fish farming, challenges that require even more corn production. It is true that the problem of access of land has been posed to us. In this sense, with the Minister of Lands and Land Affairs, we are in the process of wanting to secure a certain number of land reserves in the Central Plain. That is to say, from Yoko, passing from Tui, from Yoko via Lena and Tibati, or in the Bateran Oya region of the east, to be able to permanently boost this agricultural production. There will remain the quality problems to be solved. The Minister of Livestock, Fishery and Animal Industry, Dr. Chiaga, also visited a newly created hatchery in Banjul, Kunchi Division, whose weekly production capacity stands at 720,000 day-old chicks, enough to satisfy local demand.
En religion, l'apôtre Johnson Suleiman est annoncé au Cameroun. Le Nigérian effectuera une grande tournée évangélique du 13 au 14 septembre 2022. L'annonce a été faite hier par ses compères au cours d'une conférence de presse. Gladys Bomotongina était là. Voici son reportage.
Le général de Dieu, l'apôtre Johnson Suleiman d'Omega Fire Ministry Worldwide, effectuera une grande tournée de prière de 2 jours au Cameroun. Une information rendue publique lors de la conférence de presse organisée par ses représentants au Cameroun à cet effet. L'événement se tiendra donc du 13 au 14 septembre 2022 au stade omnisport de Bepanda à Douala, composé de 2 sessions. Une matinale qui se tiendra à 8 h et une session du soir à partir de 16 h. Une mission reçue par instruction divine visant à soumettre la situation du Cameroun entre les mains du Dieu créateur. Tout ceci dans le but de voir un retour à la paix, à la gloire et à la stabilité du Cameroun. La venue de notre Père spirituel est pour la paix. Le but de cette venue est pour la restauration. Nous savons tous que le Cameroun a besoin de prière. Il ne vient pas pour l'église Oméga, mais pour le corps du Christ en général, mais aussi pour l'unité de cette nation. Né le 24 mars 1971, il est originaire d'Oshi, dans l'état d'Edo, au Nigeria, un pays voisin au Cameroun. Ce n'est donc pas la première fois qu'il vient dans notre pays, car la ville de Limbe et celle de Bamenda l'avaient déjà reçu dans les années antérieures. Pour cette fois, c'est la ville de Douala qui va donc accueillir l'éminent homme de Dieu.
The purpose for this event is for us to announce the coming of the crusade.
Il a déjà été ici quelque temps auparavant. Comme il a eu à venir les fois précédentes, il viendra encore, c'est une assurance. On rappelle, plusieurs autres généraux de Dieu du Cameroun étaient présents à la dite conférence de presse qui s'est tenue ce vendredi 26 août 2022 à Bonabiri Douala. Une manière pour eux d'annoncer ensemble la venue de leurs confrères. Il s'agit donc ici d'une opportunité pour tous les Camerounais de se réunir ensemble comme un seul homme, question de prier pour la délivrance de la nation.
The Minister of Domains, Cadastral and Land Affairs have decided to suspend the production of building permits and real estate transactions in some towns of the Southwest region, as we get the details in the following report.
Minister of Domains, Cadastral and Land Affairs, Henry Eyebe Ayisi, recently signed an order declaring the public utility the works of delimitation and securing of the sites necessary for the development of port activity of the future water port depth of Limbe. On the basis of this project, Minister Henry Eyebe Ayisi decided to suspend the production of building permits and real estate transactions in the city located in the southwest region of the country. It should be noted that the areas of the said city affected by the suspension are Tiko, Downbeach, Bota, Cape Limbo, and Edinau. Before the decree of Minister Henry Eyebe Ayisi, the President of the Republic, Paul Biya, had signed numerous texts organizing the activities of the deep water port in Limbe. The feasibility studies previously carried out estimated construction of approximately 400 billion francs CFA. It is important to note that the community of the port and industrial development of Sonara and those of the Cameroon shipyard and industry will complete the base of the industrial port complex of Limbe.
Plus d'1 milliard de francs CFA, c'est le montant que le Brésil octroie au Cameroun sous forme de dons. Ceci pour améliorer le système d'état civil au pays. Quentin Etapé nous en parle dans ce reportage.
Plus d'1 milliard, c'est le montant que le Brésil octroie au Cameroun sous forme de dons. Une convention signée jeudi dernier entre les deux pays à Yaoundé par le ministre de l'économie, de la planification et de l'aménagement du territoire, Alamine Ousmane, l'ambassadrice du Brésil, Patricia Oliveira Lima, et le directeur général du Bureau national de l'état civil, Alexandre Marie. Cette somme permet de soutenir le projet d'amélioration du système national d'état civil pour favoriser une citoyenneté active. Il est en question de mobiliser toutes les informations nécessaires dans la perspective d'enregistrer les naissances, délivrer les actes y afférents, d'accompagner le citoyen dans la vie parce que sans document, il est impossible d'offrir à tout un chacun les services publics de l'État. D'après le gouvernement qui veut s'inspirer du modèle d'enregistrement du Brésil pour améliorer son système d'état civil. Selon les enquêtes par grappe à indicateurs multiples réalisées par l'INS, l'État du Cameroun est passé de 66,1% en 2014 à 70% en 2020. Le système national d'enregistrement manuel ne permet pas encore de donner à chaque Camerounais une identité civile incontestable et au gouvernement de produire les données fiables sur la population. Pour donc remédier à cette situation, il est envisagé une gestion informatisée de l'état civil avec reprise d'antériorité.
Concluons ce journal avec cette note d'information hors de nos frontières. 4 personnes, dont 2 enfants, ont été tuées hier vendredi dans un bombardement mené par l'aviation éthiopienne sur Mekele, capitale de la région rebelle du Tigré. Ce bombardement au cœur de cette région dissidente du nord de l'Éthiopie marque une escalade brutale après la reprise des combats mercredi dernier entre forces gouvernementales et rebelles tigréens du Front de libération du peuple du Tigré à la frontière sud de la région. Mesdames, Messieurs, c'est la fin de votre journal bilingue sur MyMedia Prime TV. Merci de nous avoir écoutés. Les programmes se poursuivent. Bonsoir à vous. Bonsoir, Cynthia.
Good evening, Lilian. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us throughout this news edition, receiving technical assistance from Ewane and coordinated by Lasha Kingsley. I have been Cynthia Azanu. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Welcome to a new world of TV broadcasting. My Media Prime. News,